often talked about chemistry being something that's underrated, that it's really important. This club seems like it maybe is together better than a lot of them you've had.
Yeah, it has a good chemistry to it. And and you guys think back to what I said even in the spring and summer, and I even remember talking. I don't know if anyone believed me, but I remember even saying that I felt our offensive line was going to be much better than people were giving them credit for, and it's starting to show a little bit. But these guys do have a really good chemistry. They're grounded. They don't get caught up in all the hoopla or whatever it's said about them. They've been great on coming with a great attitude to practice and meetings every day, and I think they've really grasped on to the attitude of making sure that we are getting better, each week and making improvement. And so for the most part, we've been able to do that.
With all the young players in this team, don't you really think next year should be better than this year?
I would hope so, and the year after that maybe even better than that year. So you're always wanting to progress, but we've got some really special young people. There's no question in the next couple of years we also hopefully will be in this kind of position, and we ought to have some really good teams.
Do you think your kicking game is now finally sort of settled?
No, it's not as good as it needs to be. I think we're still, those guys are working hard on it. No, we've been adequate and good. I think we're better than that though in some areas. So so we'll see. We're working them hard, and but that's an area just like our offense defense. We're not there yet. We'll keep. We have a chance to keep making improvement, and the kicking game's no different.
Yeah, typically veterans sort of pull the younger guys up. Is there anything like the reverse happening? Just that they're playing so much and seemingly so ready to go. Is that inspiring your veterans?
It could be. I think those what they're doing is they're complimenting the veterans. I think is a better way of saying it, because and the veterans are smart guys. They see it. I mean, players recognize players long before anyone else does. You're on the field, and I remember DeMarco saying this summer. He says, "Boy, wait till you see Roy Finch." Those guys. It doesn't take them long to assess one another and what a guy's able to do, and just the number of freshmen that are really playing well, I think really complements the older guys that are also playing well.
Bob, aside from the normal things that you have to do on defense to be successful every week, what is it you think is important against Gabbert and what Missouri brings offensively?
Kind of like the same things that we've done in the past. Is you've got to really be, believe it or not, be great against a run game, and we'll work hard on that through the week, and then all the different screens that they work. So a lot of it is really being good up front there, and then you want to make them uncomfortable in different ways, whether it be coverage and give your guys time to get to them, or bringing pressure and trying to make him have to throw it before he wants to. So you're always trying to get with their change their timing up some, and whether quarterbacks, receivers, all of that, and then tackle well in space, which fortunately we've for the most part been able to do that.
You didn't want, before the year began, you said, okay, I'm not going to talk much about Donald Stevenson until I see him, what he does on the games.
Yeah, he's playing great. He really is. Donald has been very consistent, very good. He's playing excellently. I mean, he really is. Everything that we're asking him to do, pass blocking, run blocking, penalty free, those kind of things. He's been playing really sharp.
Well, was last week any kind of a determination factor on Roy Finch as to whether he redshirted or not? And after you saw him in practice, did you say, hey, no way we're redshirting this guy?
Yeah, Coach Gundy was talking about that, and Roy still is working hard on some of the mental. You saw a few times Landry telling him what to do, so he still has to keep pushing himself there. But no, listen, Coach Wilson as well felt, listen, he gives you too much different pace of play and style of running that he's going to contribute and has a chance to in a really positive way. So we need to play him,
What about returning kicks?
Plus, you have two seniors graduating. He'll be better and more prepared next year, no matter how much he plays, even going through game preparation during the week.
What about returning kicks?
That's a possibility.
This week?
It's a possibility. We'll see.
Bob, how
discouraged were you, or maybe that's the wrong word, but down on your defense in September with all the yardage? And how encouraged or excited are you with the way they've played more recently?
Well, I was never discouraged because what I saw in some of the games, and no one wants to hear it, but in the end, there's some guys in position to make plays that I know can make them, and that it'd be more discouraging if we weren't in position, and didn't know where we were going, or weren't capable of making plays, and I felt that we weren't far off. And you know, we've had other years, maybe not quite like this, but we've had some other years where we had some growing pains early, and little by little we settled down or you know, become a little more sure of ourselves and what we're doing and make those kind of plays that I know we can make. So I wasn't, I felt we would continue to make good, solid improvement. We're not there yet, but I know we're closer and closer. And, you know, and because even in those games, what you're talking about, we've played some quality people and we're in some good, strong positions in the fourth quarter. You don't get there by playing poorly, you know, throughout the whole game. So, anyway, we're still building on it. We got to, you know, keep the consistency we had last week, and I believe we can. And, you know, even, you know, you look at, too, what Florida State's doing and how we played in that game. You know, a team that spreads it out pretty well and how we covered, how we got to the quarterback, those kind of things were a big factor. And so, you know, we've had some instances where I know we're capable of playing really solid defense, and we're still working on it.
You're going back to the side of that fake field goal touchdown a few years ago. Do you remember what was going through your mind when you called that play?
Yeah, just you know, I still felt strong about it. It's I don't know. It's like the other day at you know, in the Cotton Bowl that, you know, into the wind that distance we're probably best 30%. You know, and in that instance that you're talking about at Missouri, we had already missed one, relatively the same distance or closer. The field was wet. For whatever reason, they had it wet and the grass was tall. I thought, shoot, we got a better chance of this happening. And I figured, you know, the way the game was going, we needed more points than 3. So fortunately it works, and we got lucky. You know, our strong safety throws the ball to our tight end, who's now an NFL O-lineman, who catches the ball with his elbows. You know, it's just one of those things, we got lucky.
You've gone through stretches where trick plays have worked, it seems like every time, and then stretches where, you know, they don't work. Does it make it easier when they're working a column or harder when
Well, you're just a lot smarter when they work. That's all. It's really all there is to it.
Bob, how much does it mean to a team like when Box returns or when they see an Adrian Taylor who they know is coming back from a gruesome injury, sprint 35 yards downfield and try to chase a small receiver and things like that? And guys were talking about that yesterday. It seems like they really notice those things or pay attention.
Yeah, it matters. They appreciate the effort when guys, you know, guys that when they play hard, and it's recognized when you watch tape of one another, you know, who's playing hard, or when you see that kind of effort, or guys coming back from injury and really contributing, and it just shows why it matters, you know, that you play that way.
How comfortable are you now, and how well is Work playing, and how do you see Box in this ball game playing since he's been there?
Austin continues to get better and better. He's more comfortable. He's, you know, the little he's played in some of the last game, he felt good after it. So he'll continue to work in there. But we're very comfortable with Tom. Tom in the last couple of games has played really well and is only getting better. And so anyway, but Austin continues to, you know, to get more practice time, and we'll just see where it goes.
Is Missouri similar to you guys in the fact, or in the idea that, you know, they're unbeaten, but it hasn't been easy, but just now lately it seems like they're getting it or you know, they're making greater strides now. Are they like you that way?
I guess it's probably fair to say that, yeah. I don't know, you know, that'd be for you guys to.
Do they look like a team that's really getting better?
Definitely, you know, in the last couple of games, they've played, you know, in a really strong and positive way, definitely.
Coach, you went into Columbia and pulled Trey Miller out of Tiger. How difficult was that? What was that recruiting process like?
Well, I know he you know, and his family, his mom is there, and they you know, they have great affection and feeling for Missouri. But I think our style of football, I think, is more than anything just fit Trey with, you know, the way we use fullbacks And I think, evidenced by how he's played, it has been a good fit for him. So I think more than anything, that was the issue. And I know, and I'm sure he liked their staff too, but I think he felt a good fit with Coach Wilson and what we were going to ask him to do. And again, his part of the offense, I think, I don't know if anybody can argue, really fits him and fits him well.
Bob, a lot of talk about the helmet-to-helmet hits in the NFL. Is there a trickle-down effect to college? I mean, do you have to deal with that? Or
Well, there's been. I mean, we have that rule, so that rule's in place. So I don't know how much more in place it can be. There is. And, and in the end, it's the right thing to do. I know sometimes we all get caught on the wrong end of it, where you're aiming here and the guy ducks and you didn't mean to hit him there. There's going to be those issues, but the more you can alleviate it and get rid of it, the better for the student athletes. So we're all going to be on one end or the other at some point that you don't want to be, but for safety issues, it's the right thing to do.
So nobody's telling anybody to play football in a way that's not how they've been taught already. I guess that was a horrible question.
Yeah. One time I'll agree with you.
It's not like those who are setting these rules are changing the rules, is it? I mean,
no, I think we're just want to make sure they're enforced, and that's okay. In the end, I think the more you can get away from the head, in all ways, I think the better. And maybe next it'll be knees, people coming from outside in. I don't care where you line up, and some of the things where they hit defenders in the knees needs to be questioned a little bit too, but that's for another day.
I think this will be better than Clay's question, Coach. The majority of national media, it seems, say that Oklahoma doesn't deserve to be number one in the BCS. Do you use that with your kids as a motivating factor?
We don't care anything about where we're at, what they say, what the poll says. All we care about is what we do and what we prepare and what we do against Missouri. And the rest of it'll, be where it needs to be. Those having an opinion on somebody else's opinion doesn't seem to matter to me, or doesn't seem to be real dignified in my case. So I don't really care what they think.
Bob, do you change your demeanor at practice when you realize that your quarterback has decided he wants to go into the ministry?
No, we're kind of who we are, and I'll say for the most part we're pretty respectful and do, and we're pretty careful about our language and this, that, and the other thing. I won't say that every now and then something slips from somebody here or there that shouldn't, but for the most part we're, Landry's out there competing with all of us, and if he's going to be a minister, he'll learn to forgive. So but we're not, and we talk about it. I talk about it with my staff, and we're pretty, and even with the players. I don't want to hear, that we do our best to. There's not a lot of profanity and hardly ever a fight, and we're pretty smart on how we go about it.
Other than Sam, at this stage, midway through his sophomore year, is he the most advanced quarterback you've had, Coach?
That's fair to say, sure. As a sophomore, in the middle of his sophomore year, yeah, definitely. And if it wasn't for Sam, everybody'd be going crazy about him. So he's pretty special, and he's only, again, going to keep getting better. Okay.